People might think this particular story is a real case of royal tit for tat, as they say. You know, as one person says one thing, another person does another. But whoever is to blame for this particular debacle, one might suggest that if you look at it in the bigger picture, of course, it would be Meghan and Harry who started this whole thing off. But as you can imagine now, with a brand new king at the realm, he has to decide exactly how he makes his mark. And the decisions that he makes, everything from slimming down his own palatial homes to, of course, who lives on the Crown Estate, as we saw recently with the offer to remove, rehouse, reposition the Queen's former dresser, Angela Kelly, back to a place that she feels more comfortable in. Interesting to note, of course, in the case of Harry and Meghan, they were issued at the start of the year a removal notice to basically get up and quit their, what they consider at least to be, United Kingdom home, Frogmore Cottage, even though they really only spent around about 6 months there, all said and told. This was after a 2.5 million refit, which we're told was paid back. A little bit dubious because it's on the Crown Estate and one can never be truly sure. Now things really took a turn for the worst, as you can imagine, because this was made public and this was issued allegedly on the day of the publication of Prince Harry's tell-all book Spare. Things escalated, as one can imagine, rather dramatically. Then apparently it sort of thawed out a bit because the King had suggested that Harry and Meghan, with 1 month's notice, could reside back in the palatial surroundings of Buckingham Palace in the very heart of London, should they so wish. This was taken as something of a slight. Now, according to a very good source, both Harry and Meghan are incredibly peeved at their removal from Frogmore Cottage, which they were going to be considering their London base for some time to come, as some people may imagine. You see, the idea really was that the Duke of York, Prince Andrew, would be then vacating Royal Lodge to a much smaller Frogmore Cottage. No, he doesn't want to do it. The reason being, he feels that he spent quite a substantial amount of money over the many years, and he has an agreement with the late monarch that he could continue to live there, even though, of course, they're very expensive costs to run Royal Lodge, which then now, I hope you're keeping up, basically means that Harry and Meghan were left steaming, seemingly why they were asked to move so quickly. You see, according to a very good source close to the former royals, they just see this as a personal spite. They could have stayed there, there wouldn't have been an issue, a problem, etc. But of course they were told that they had to get out by the beginning of summer. And we do know that most of their remains now have gone out of Frogmore Cottage, leaving the venue simply empty. As we told you recently, they don't understand also why His Majesty the King would not at least offer accommodation, a private home off the Crown Estate for Harry and Meghan somewhere in the future for when they decide to return, if and ever. But for now, this royal battle of accommodation is really rolling on and is not playing out particularly well, let me tell you, over here in the United Kingdom as we escalate with the cost of living crisis. Many people homeless, army veterans sleeping on the streets, and there you have royals fighting over palatial homes. It doesn't bode well. But of course, with Harry and Meghan, they truly know how to make, some might say, a mountain out of a molehill. But right now, even that wouldn't be enough for Harry and Meghan to live in. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.